clawing our way out of our graves to bring you your weekly dose of chaos and darkness. I'm Rexy.
And I'm Lillie, and this is the Morning Report.
Hey, mourners.
Hello.
Hey, Lillie.
Hi.
Hi, Rex.
Rexy. I love it.
Oh, God, Lillie just melts into a puddle of goo.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
You do. You truly do.
I have some kind of control over Rex.
Somebody has control.
You both do. At least once a week. When I'm in here, you guys both win every.
I would like it on record that Rexy is drinking water. I would just like to celebrate that again in the podcast. I'm so proud of you.
Double fisting the water too. It's not just water.
Can't double fist anything else. I guess it'll be water. So, I guess you guys have noticed. We have a third voice / third face if you're watching or listening. And Denise has come back to hang out with us. Wait, have you been on this show?
I have not. We've been talking about it for a while.
Okay, so this is the first time.
Yeah.
Welcome. And weirdly, we're not doing a Bigfoot episode. And I really thought when you finally came on the show, we'd do a Bigfoot episode.
Same here, but I like this topic even more. So
yeah. So we are here to follow up the episode that we did last week about the Queen Mary. And this week we brought Denise on because she has some pretty rad stuff to tell us because she got married on the Queen Mary.
Yes.
And has some firsthand experiences to share with us. So this mostly is just going to be, I guess both of us will be interrupting Denise for a change.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
Girl, you are a professional.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Hey, we get paid for it. We can call ourselves professionals. We get paid
we
get paid for Sisterhood of the Travelin Bantha. Oh yeah, we should say something about that. That's how I guess that's one of the connections. It's not how we all know each other. But we all know each other because of Star Wars. We're all costumer friends. And Denise is my co-host over on Sisterhood of the Travelin Bantha. Plug for the other show. Go listen to it. If you're a Star Wars fan. But we are here to talk about ghosts and ghost ships and weddings and somehow how all of those go together.
So, okay. But my story with the Queen Mary starts long before my marriage.
Ooh, okay.
Long before, back to like 1942, when my grandfather enlisted in World War II, was actually on the ghost ship as he was transported to Australia.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was that when she was called the Grey Ghost?
Yeah, the Grey Ghost.
Oh, that's so cool. We saw pictures of that like last episode.
Yeah. And so the history, my connection to it starts from long time ago. Like I remember my grandfather getting a globe and sitting down with us and showing me and my sister like the track, like the not the track, the path it took down there. And so learning that, and he would tell us that they had 12 hours in their bunks and then 12 hours out of their bunks because they would have to flip-flop with other people.
And be able to have enough room like for everybody to sleep.
And he was upset that he had to throw his guns that he bought overseas over ship because they weren't allowed to bring them back to the U.S.
Oh no! They just didn't put them in the ocean.
Yeah, he said there was a bunch of people on the side of the ship just chucking their guns over.
Oh no.
Yeah, so the gray ghost, yeah.
That's
so
really cool.
Yeah, so the Queen Mary.
Pictures?
Huh?
Do you have any pictures?
No, not on my grandfather on the Grey Ghost. I asked my dad actually right before we came on if he had any, and he said that was one thing he was super bummed was they never put any photos of him on there. And then I also learned that he used to drive bombs around all on the base. Yeah,
that was his job. Fucking bombs,
driving bombs around and loading them on the base.
Goodness gracious!
But yeah, the Queen Mary. So, you guys know, obviously, she's docked in Long Beach.
Yeah. Lillie has never gotten to go, but I got to go. I got to have like the champagne brunch and do a tour.
The only reason I've been to the West Coast is to land in LAX as my layover on my way to Hawaii. That's all I've done.
LAX.
Okay. We should take a trip out there. We should kidnap Dina and take a trip out to California.
Yeah, and definitely head up to Queen Mary. We like to go we try to go if Matt's going to California with us to the Queen Mary. Because my dad, when we were younger, they used to have real famous malt shakes. I don't know if you know about that. There's a malt shop on there. And so my dad would take us all the time growing up. And eventually, when Matt and I started dating, Long Beach was like an hour drive from where we lived. So
I have an uncle who's still, my uncle and his husband still live in Long Beach.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So I go there every time I go home. I try to make it out there.
We used to go and hang out at the observation deck, the bar.
Yeah,
drink, and then run around the Queen Mary at like 2 a.m. trying to find ghosts.
I have never gone on like any of those tours. I've never gone after dark. Like, I want to go look for ghosts. I want to.
So yeah, we would, a few times we had our friend Keon go with us, and our friend Pete, and our friend Derek, and we would drink and go places we shouldn't be going. We'd just be like, oh, does this door open? Yeah, let's go. That was what we did. And you would constantly hear all kinds of like noises, like the floors settling like oddly. But my first like real run-in was probably the night before our wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, so
give us a timeline. Like, what year was
this? This was 2010 on May. What day did we get married? I think we got married the 16th. So May 15th.
Somewhere in the middle of May.
Okay, somewhere around there. There was an important date in my life that I should remember. Yeah, it was the 16th, so 15th. My sister and I had a hotel room that we booked so we could stay the night because where my dad lived was about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive away from the Queen Mary, and I did not want to deal with traffic.
Yeah, obviously. The day you're getting married.
Yeah.
Especially because we were getting married on a Sunday afternoon, and I didn't want to have to get up super early, drive. But a lot of weird things happened that night. A lot of noises, a lot of...
Where on the ship did you stay? Because there's a couple of wings, right, that you can stay in the...
Yeah, there's the two sides. Let me see if I can... I was on... I'm trying to remember what deck.
I'm just wondering if, like, any parts of the ship are more haunted than others.
So the first night we stayed there, I had more activity. The second night, I don't recall any, but we also were drinking a lot at the wedding. And then after the wedding. But it was one of the smaller rooms. It was like kind of towards the middle of the ship. I know there's a lot of hauntings in the front of the ship where it ran over. It like plowed into another ship during World War II and essentially like broke that boat in half.
Yep, we got pictures of that. I think it was the portrait.
Yeah.
Yes. We stayed in a standard stateroom, but like, so we got there and we were trying to relax, but like I probably had the most restless night of sleep I've ever had. And it wasn't because of nerves. Like Matt and I at this point were already living together 1,500 miles away from when we were getting married. Like it wasn't that.
Were you already out here in?
Yes, we were already out in Oklahoma. But there was this weird, like, so I was taking a bath trying to like calm myself and relax. And anytime I would dunk my head underwater, you just hear all this banging against this like on the side of the, like on the bathtub. But then if you like sat up, you didn't hear anything. Like, yeah, I was like, I just want to take a bath and relax. And
I want to take a shower.
Don't put your head under the water.
But like, so like that was the first weird thing of the night, and like, but my sister, I'm pretty sure she didn't hear it. It was just me, and I was like,
Did she take a bath?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but did she also take a bath?
I don't remember.
Shower?
I don't remember, but I was like,
it was just when you were fully submerged.
Come listen to this, like somebody else listen.
Right. Come stick your head in this water and tell me what you hear.
And so, yeah, so that was like the first thing. Like I understand that there, it is a very old ship. It was built in the 1930s, I believe it was. And a lot of the, at least in 2010, some of this.
We talked about it.
No, it's the 30s.
Was it 30s?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff was still kind of like the original. Like the chapel was all the original wood still from when this ship was built. Like, so we couldn't use any kind of candles or anything in the chapel because they didn't want it to catch on fire because it's original wood.
You know, just safety.
I get it. It's a wood room. So I knew there was going to be some sort of noises, but it was a permanently docked ship at this point. It's been permanently docked for a long time.
Yeah. She doesn't and there are no plans to make her ever take another.
She's never going to move from this space, ever. Like, but to hear these noises was so, like, off-putting, and I was just like, man, like, I knew it was haunted. I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't really think it was going to be, like, haunted. You know what I mean?
Did you hear anything besides the banging when you were underwater?
No, that was it. Like, everything else was silent. It was just that. It was so, like, creepy.
It makes me immediately think of, like, because she, you know, so many people around her, right? So it kind of makes me think somebody trapped underwater banging for help, like trying to get attention, right?
Possibly.
Yeah. The only thing I could think, like, why would you hear it underwater?
Or you could hear the banging of the pipes because people would die in the not the boiler room, but you know, under the ship where they're like it could be that from the pipes of that, and so that was interesting. And then that night too, like we went to plug in our phones to set our alarm clocks, make sure everything, and when we went to bed, like we made sure that the charging signal was on. No charge. Phone didn't charge. I lost all reception in my room.
Was it like that when you first got there? Like,
no, because I made calls in the bedroom and like
those fuck with the energy, like the electricity.
Yep. Yeah, and so I ended up waking up late because
no fucking alarm.
No alarm, and then the girl who's going to do my makeup was trying to get a hold of me and couldn't because by the time, like, luckily she wasn't there. Like, I was awake before she got there, but like I had no reception in my room, so nobody could get a hold of me. No. I was like, I just want to get like my makeup done. Like,
were you late for your wedding? It seems like there's a story there. I want to know the story.
So, our wedding wedding, Matt and I's wedding, is a wedding for the ages. Like, we told Matt, I told Matt, you better not get drunk at our wedding. Like, no getting drunk. You're not going to be that typical drunk groom. Like, no. So, this whole leading up to the wedding, because I knew we were living in Oklahoma, like we were getting married in California, I said, okay, we cannot, I'm going to take the marriage license to make sure we don't forget it.
Okay.
I forgot the marriage license. I don't know if this is like all remnants of like the stuff from the night before.
You decided I'm gonna take it so we don't forget it.
It's safe with me.
This is you. We're talking.
I don't know if you've heard all the crazy stories that happened at my wedding. Like, so
I know I've heard some, but lay them on.
We realized, so maybe like 30 minutes before, an hour before the wedding, like we realized we forgot. I forgot. Not we forgot. I forgot the marriage license.
Listen, the reason this is killing me so bad, I know you've heard some of it, but like Denise consistently forgets something. Every single event, every single troop. And it's always something important. Like, she forgot her fucking pants.
I forgot my helmet.
I've heard, yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's killing me that she forgot her pants.
So, I'm stressing out at this point now. We don't have our marriage license. My aunt, my wonderful aunt, she's like, here, have a glass of wine. This starts the day off. It's 11:30, we're drinking. Which is fine. The guys are all taking shots. It doesn't matter. So one of my bridesmaids, her twin sister went with her to the wedding. She ends up saying, hey, I will drive from Long Beach to Rancho Cucamonga and back to go get your marriage license so that the pastor can sign and everything. So the story gets better. She leaves. We're getting ready to start the ceremony, and she books it down there, flying. We forgot to tell her my dad's house has an alarm. So she goes to open the door, she sets off the alarm. They can't get a hold of my dad because we're in the ceremony. She can't get a hold of anybody because we're up there. So she's sitting outside our house while the alarm's going off, all dressed up like papers, waiting for the police to show up.
No. I don't even know, like, what would you even say to the cops at that point? My friend is getting married, she forgot the marriage license, I rushed back. It's right here.
Somebody told me there was an alarm.
So, finally, the ceremony ends. I see that my phone has a bunch of calls. My friend Yvette sees her phone has a bunch of calls. And we're like, oh my god, Dad, my dad sees that the alarm company tried to call him. So, we get it taken care of, and she makes it back, like, surprisingly there and back in like 2 hours. I don't know how she managed to do that, because Rancho to Long Beach is more than an hour.
We put on that hero cape.
And she did that while having to wait for cops. So
at least she waited. I would have just left. I'd just been like, peace out, guys.
Gotta go.
So all that's going on. And then, this room right here is where we actually had our reception, which was the Bantha Grill, which was the first class club when it was a cruise liner. And our DJ screwed up the whole like entrance to the wedding and introduced the bride, or my cousin and Matt's brother, as the bride and groom. They're like, bride and groom, and they're like, no. So that's happening. I get super drunk because my nerves are all high from forgetting that. My aunt's continuously giving me like wine glasses throughout the ceremony.
More alcohol.
So this turned into drunk Denise's wedding.
Yep.
My dad turned to Matt and was just like, well, she's your problem now. But it was a lot of fun because then afterwards, our like 4-hour like reception turned into a 6-hour reception, and then we went and partied more afterwards and got drunk and then ran around the ship to go exploring again.
Hell yes, that's like you used to do. So that's fantastic.
So it was just great. Like, but part of me wonders, like, that night before, like, did that caused some of the chaos, like, the next day?
Maybe.
It started off sounding like they were like celebrating and like wishing you well, and then they were like, you know what? Let's just fuck with her instead.
It is like the story for the ages. Like, but it wouldn't be Matt and I if it was like any other way.
Yeah.
But like, I will never forget what happened that night going into the wedding with the banging, the issues with technology, like. It was nuts. Part of me wants to think like my grandpa was there in spirit, because by this time my grandfather had already passed away, and then being on the Gray Ghost or
and that would have been
Maury,
that, it's pretty important.
I'd like to think that was kind of his way of saying, "Hey, I'm glad you made it back." I don't know. He was there celebrating and partying with us. Yeah. With his globe spinning it. Be like, here we are now.
I like it.
But I love the Queen Mary. If you guys ever get a chance, go. That's all I have to say.
I love it. I would love to go back. I'd love to go back tonight. Before we let you go, though, because thank you so much for coming and telling me your story.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, I would like very much to know, what's your favorite Christmas?
My favorite what? That's creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna have to say Bigfoot, and it's not but it's not because I necessarily believe that Bigfoot is real. I like the idea of Bigfoot. I like the idea that there are these creatures that are among us that we haven't seen, that we don't know, kind of just chilling out in the woods and being like, look at these idiots. Like, they can't capture us. Like, they've been trying to get photos and they can't do it.
It's a good fantasy.
And so I like that concept, and I like that idea. And it's also something, my dad is a big Bigfoot believer, so it's just something fun to do with my dad, who swears he's seen two, so.
Get him on the show.
Yeah, that'll be another episode.
Thank you so much. This was super fun.
Yes.
It's so good to see your face.
Yeah. It's so good to see your face too.
This was a blast.
Look, okay, back when I lived in Oklahoma, the three of us were trouble. Like, nothing got done. Nothing got taken seriously.
I still don't have my kid.
Neither do I. I'm supposed to
That's
have
right.
mine done in a week.
Any work done ever.
I need to make a new kit because mine keeps breaking.
Girl, your kit.
It's past its prime.
Well, that's our episode.
Yay. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. You'll have to come back. We'll have to, like, do an in-depth Bigfoot
That would be
episode.
really good. Get your dad to come on too.
He will tell you. He will tell you all those stories from the 70s and like 3 years ago seeing him. So
I will indulge that man all day. I would love that.
All right.
Until next week, this has been the Morning Report.
The Morning Report.
Whoop,
Whoop, whoop. I like it. I'm gonna save that. Hey, mourners. That's Lily.
That's Crystal. And we are...
The Morning. Hey, mourners. That's Lily.
That's Crystal. And we are...
The Morning
The
Report.
Morning Report.
Hey, mourners. That's Lillie.
That's Crystal. And we are
The Morning
The
Report.
Morning Report. It's not hard. What is wrong with us?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.